best friend.
Hey, what's up guys? I'm trying to do like a little review guide on the Kled matchup. Just kind of want to let you guys know what's going on in my head when I'm playing against Kled. A lot of people think Riven loses to Kled. I actually think Riven wins when she's playing it well. I don't even think it's even. I don't think Kled has an advantage over her. I think what people get it mixed with is that it's a very volatile lane where if Kled does manage to, if you make a mistake and Kled capitalizes on it by just landing one Q, you will take a ton of return damage. So you just have to be really careful and know how Kled works. And I'll go over that a bit in this lane phase. For the runes, you can see I'm taking Conquer, Triumph. Obviously, it's taking every game. A lot of people don't really like Bloodline. I think the legend tree is very situational. I'll always say that. They don't have much CC on this team. It's not useful for Kled or Kindred. They don't have like a Leona or anything. So it's always between Alacrity and Bloodline. I personally like Bloodline a lot. Even though Kled has his Grievous wounds on his Q. I like to push lane versus Kled. I like to be very aggressive, and so I like to keep auto-attacking the minions. That little extra lifesteal will keep me a bit healthier in lane. I also think the Bloodline scales a little bit harder. But anyways, let's go ahead and get on this lane. You can see I'm not trying to go into the tri-bush here and cheese. A lot of times when you're blue side, you can cheese as Riven just sitting in the bush, and you should do that a lot of. Sorry, my throat. You should do that a lot of champions, like anybody who has like a decent level 1, because you're always going to be able to start off the trade with an extra auto attack here, or they're just not going to be expecting it. But I see Kled has Conquer. He also has Resolve. So because he has Resolve, it makes it where I'm not going to be able to kill him, and it's also just not very good to try to level 1 trade versus Kled in the sense, because if he gets dismounted, you're not going to be able to catch him. You're not going to do enough damage where you can dismount him and then kill him after, especially since he's going to be able to do his jump back. And you're also not going to be able to kill him in lane, and you're just going to give him stacks to get remounted by the time you hit level 2. Like, you're not going to be able to kill him dismounted at level 1. So you might as well just not do the trade, or else you're just giving him extra health when he remounts. So here the most important thing is just to watch out for his Q. You know he has Q. As long as you watch out for that, you can go for some stuff. Obviously, I try to pop his bone plating with Q. Anytime I see they have bone plating, I try to pop it with one of my Qs. The third Q is the best if you can, but for now I'm just kind of playing, just trying to get whatever minions I can. Riven, you usually don't want to try to fight at the first couple levels if you can. Just wait for a couple levels. Right here, I try to get out with a couple Qs, but I'm at like the very end of the range. Obviously just try to avoid the Qs, but it still doesn't do too much. At level 2 is when you gotta start being careful. If he gets a Q, he can double E to you. But it's pretty easy, and I'll show you. So he gets a Q on me here. You know, obviously we try to avoid it, but you can't do that every time. If he does hit you with Q, what you see me do is I save my E until right before the second part comes, because that's how we're going to ensure that we get maximum value out of the shield. Because he's going to he's going to get the second part of the Q, and he's going to auto attack you after. Sorry, I don't know if I ate like some granola or something. Something in my throat keeps bothering me. But we want to get maximum value out of our shield, so the second part of the Q plus auto attack comes after, is going to make sure this full shield is blocking 110 damage or whatever. So you always want to try to save the shield for the second part of the Q, unless you're able to get out of the Q range with it. Obviously it's fine then, but one of the problems a lot of Riven players make is they will try to EQ as soon as the Q hits them, and then they think they're going to get out of the range, but that's when Kled does his first E, and then their shield runs out and they get hit by the second Q, and you get demolished in the trade. You can't turn back on them. When you're trading, like when you shield like that, a lot of times you're able to do a little bit of return damage, especially when you hit level 3. This is a mistake by me to get hit by the Q, but you know, it happens. You really want to wait till level 3, and then you'll see why it doesn't even end up being that bad getting hit by the Q. Even this trade wasn't horrendous. Like, I'm still trying to just auto attack as much as I can because I went Doran's Blade in this matchup, and I have the Legend Bloodline rune, so you're just gonna see me try to auto attack as much as I can. And it's the same thing for him. You know, I don't really want to push with spells if I can. I want to save the spells for him, and I want to auto attack for lifesteal for sustain. I see my Graves is coming, so I'm trying to set up for Graves, but I went a little bit too early, and I got hit by the Q. We still ended up getting the kill, but I ended up having to flash for it. It's still worth it, but probably could have played that a little bit better by just waiting a little bit. Alright, so here we just push the wave, and I'm probably just gonna recall here after getting this sword. How much gold I have? I have enough for Doran's Blade and refillable potion, but the problem is I'm watching this wave, and what Kindred does here is really smart. She actually freezes my wave, and I really don't want to have to teleport back if I don't have to. And because I'm not super low, I think I'm going to be able. I want to try to get this into the turret. I see Kled is here, but I'm like, okay, whatever. I didn't get to recall. In Higher Eagle, that's what they do sometimes. They try to freeze your wave, so they mess up your recall. Right here, you really want to use the Q. You want to try to save your E to dodge the Q. That's what you see me doing here. A lot of Rivens in lower rank, they use their E too early. I have my E up here, but I'm not using it. I'm trying to save it for either if I do get hit by the Q, like if he Qs me right here, then I'm saving it to block the second part of the Q, like I said. But if not, I can also use it to try to dodge it. So I'm doing my normal trade, and then when I see his Q come out, the E is faster than the Q. It's also easier to change directions with the Q. If you're dodging with Q, you have to change your direction. Sometimes it can be a little buggy, but it's also just slower. It's also... you also don't want a Q to dodge as much because that's damage. Like, your Q, you want to try to use for damage if you can. And so that's why it's usually better to try to save your E to dodge or just to leave. As that trade ends up working out for me, and he had already recalled. I'm just trying to get my wave shoved in so I can get my back off. That's what I'm trying to go for. Obviously, just stops my recall. Not much going on here. Try to get refillable potion whenever you can. I think we got a really nice recall here. We got another Doran's Blade, a longsword, and a refillable potion. That's really strong. Double Doran's Blade is really good versus Gnar here. I kind of messed up this trade a little bit. I think I canceled like an auto or two. It ends up being alright, only because I think I dodged the Q here. Now, I want you to pay attention to something I do here. I'm in an alright position. Because he already missed his E and his Q, but right here, I don't actually go to dismount him here. I think most people would try to dismount him here and kill him after, but I don't think I have enough damage to kill him. And so what I end up doing is I actually get him to 1 health, and then I leave. And there's a very specific reason I do this. Now he's under a lot of threat. See, if he dismounted, I would have just had to leave and he would have had free stacks on me, and I don't want that. If he's dismounted and I want to go in on him, I want to make sure he's very low stacks. So now if he tries to go in, now I can go in and there's nothing he can do. I have all my abilities up. If I have my abilities up, I can go in on him while he's dismounted, and that's the most important thing. I think the reason a lot of Riven players, or just people in general, struggle with Kled is because they don't understand, his dismount and remount. You need to make sure you're able to kill him in one combo once he dismounts. Because the reason people die to Kled the most is when he gets back on and gets that health. If you don't kill him while he's dismounted, when you jump on him, you're going to lose every time. So now I'm just shoving this wave in. If I can get these melees in, I can probably recall. This cannon mini kind of stops it. But I knew Kled was coming in, so it was kind of dangerous for me to stay. So even though my wave's not in a great position, I just had to take the loss and leave. Because we don't want to throw a lead. So again, we just go with the Warhammer. Kled is actually probably the best champion to go Essence Reaver against. I know you guys see me do Essence Reaver a lot. Kled, it's really strong versus Kled. Because you can one-shot him as soon as he comes out of dismount, and just popping the dismount is pretty easily. If you're not doing enough damage to him, then by the time you dismount him, you don't have any abilities left, and then you have to try to back off. But he's getting stacks on you as you're leaving. Whereas if you go Essence Reaver, you can dismount him with like while you just in your first 2 Qs, and then you can third Q him as he's getting dismounted and just ult him. So I was trying to bait him into something while I was proxying, but it was a good idea for him to just ult away. A lot of Kleds think they can fight that just because they have minions, but I'm still in a good position here. If you pay attention, what I'm trying to do is just zone them off from these minions. And even though I don't have ult, I'm still trying to see if I can do it. Because as long as he's focused on me instead of the minions, then we're in a good position. So I'm just doing whatever I can. I even get caught by the Q, but this is something that Riven, this is what Riven should utilize to snowball any matchups, is to just bully really hard. And proxying is one of the best ways to do it. So he lost like 5 minions here just by having to mess with me. Actually, even more if you're counting like where he went to ult. I mean, from right here, he's losing minions. This is one wave, and then he loses the next wave. So he loses about 10 minions there. That's like an entire level. And I mean, how much, you know, at least like a little longsword or something. Yeah, it's really big for me. Even though I don't get a kill from him, it's really good. Then I'm just proxying while I'm waiting for this wave to push back. Proxying is always really good. We're gonna fast forward this a little bit, get back to the wave. We could recall, but we would miss some minions. I also have double Dorons and some lifesteal, and I have red buff. A lot of people don't know that red buff actually heals you when you're out of combat with champions. And look, this is what the Bloodline and double Dorons way are doing. Look, remember how low I was before? And I even took the red buff, which was some damage, and now I'm almost back to full health. It doesn't even matter if you get hit by the Q at this point. I mean, I'm only 1-0, but... And I did want to say that I wanted to try to get a match with Soul Mario, but I don't know if he's still playing. I played against him like a couple months ago, because I know like this guy's like a Grandmaster's Kled main. Like he's definitely not bad. But I know, well, he actually has Jin. He's like a 2-trick. He's a Jin and the Kled 2-trick. I think he plays both of them pretty evenly, and they were both pretty solid win rates. But Soul Mario is considered like the best Kled on the server, and I still do fine versus him as long as I'm playing well. It's just I usually don't get to solo kill him as much because he knows that I think he understands Riven's, you know, power points. Like I said, he's like the best Kled on the server. But even then, I think Riven wins. Like, she has the power, but the last time I played against him, I wasn't thinking about doing this little matchup guide, so you know, this is kind of what we get. I also just don't play against many Kleds right now. I think Kled's not very good. I think his last nerf hurt him too much. I don't even understand why he got nerfed. I don't think he needed it. But anyways, I kind of just wanted to go over the lane phase for Kled. At this point, we don't really get to lane versus him too much. You want to try to stay in lane versus him because you have so much kill pressure on him. Even diving, it's easy. You just wait. You try to get him to burn his Q. You short trade until he burns his Q, and then you just dive him. There's nothing he can do. Just make sure you know you don't get kited by his dismount. But it's pretty simple. Just save a third Q or a stun for and then ult him. It's really easy. Be careful. A lot of Kleds run ignite too. Just try not to fight the first couple levels. Don't try to do a level 1 cheese versus Kled. It's not worth it. Essence Weaver's really strong versus him, but so is Cleaver. Like I said, I think Riven just wins this matchup once you learn it. So, anyways, you guys have a great day. Hopefully this helps out the Kled matchup. Alright, you guys thought that was good. Awesome. Man, I don't know why I had something in my throat.
That's what she said.
Yeah, so unlucky for like the first 5 minutes or so. I'm good now, but I could feel when I was talking, and always I hadn't even been eating. It was like when I'm eating yogurt with granola, that granola gets like stuck there sometimes.